Hello, and welcome to the 2022 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Commemoration virtual event. My name is Nikki Trudeau, and I am proud to serve as your MC. I am a School District of Janesville employee of 8 years. I teach 3rd grade at Harrison Elementary. I always wanted to be a teacher, but never saw anyone who looked like me. It's hard to believe in a dream if you don't see it as a reality. But I was fortunate to be one of the first recipients of the Janesville Multicultural Teaching Scholarship. This program was founded in 2007 with the goal to get more teachers of color into the Janesville School District. Although I never saw someone who looked like me, I can now be that person for many students to come. I feel that I have made an impact on every student that I've taught, and I work hard to build relationships and make learning fun. This year, our theme is, where do you stand? Who are you standing with? For myself, I stand alongside my students as a leader. I am there for the good times and help guide them through difficult situations. I want to show them that everyone brings something to the table and that anything is possible. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Next, Madison Levy will get us started by leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Madison is a 5th grade student at Fruzen Intermediate. She loves hanging out with her mom, dad, and older brother, Sean. She is a student athlete who plays golf with the Beloit Junior Golf Association, soccer with Rock Soccer Club, and runs cross country for the School District of Beloit. Madison is a proud Girl Scout, band member, and member of the Destination Imagination team. Please welcome Madison.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won. Let us march on till victory is won.
Next, we will hear from our student speaker, Riasha Burrows. Riasha is a proud 7th grader at Cunningham Intermediate School. Her favorite subject is social studies, and her hobbies include playing basketball, acting, traveling, and painting. Riasha has played on both basketball and softball championship teams. After graduation, she plans to attend college and study journalism. Her professional goal is to become a sportscaster. Please welcome Riasha.
Hello, my name is Riasha Burrows, and I'm here today to be the voice of Cunningham Intermediate of Beloit. Today we have gathered to celebrate a man who stood for equality, one that is recognized by many. His voice inspired the spirits of many and touched countless lives. Martin Luther King Jr. fought tirelessly for the rights of those who needed them, and that voice continues to live on in every movement for equality to this day. One of MLK's main goals during his career was to highlight the importance of staying strong during both the good times and the bad. Here is a quote that truly shows that goal. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I believe this quote represents what it means to truly be a courageous leader. Courageous leaders can stay strong in their beliefs during times of conflict and challenge. Society continues to have the same conversation that MLK once talked about and fought for: equality and social justice. I would like to present the voices of future leaders and those that are willing to stand in the face of adversity from Cunningham. The voice of Ashton. I stand with everyone in our school environment. Something that I think is important is to stand up for the heroes in the world that have been protecting us for as long as time. And we need to build the people up who think they are not as strong and powerful as us, so then they feel accepted in a good group or community. Those are the people that we should stand up for, no matter how sad or mad they are, and that makes better choices in the world and better people, no matter how many people don't feel accepted in this world. We have the power to make everyone in the world feel accepted, and we can become a better community if we just stick together and help the people in need. Now let's start making the world a better place and community. The heroes I am speaking of are the police officers, firefighters, and the Army serving us right now. And the people in need I'm speaking of are the homeless, the kids who get bullied, and the kids who feel like nobody. Ashton. As I read the voices of Cunningham, think about the power of your voice. Who would you stand with? The voice of Nicole. In my perspective, I think we should all stand for what's fair. Why should I hate somebody because of their race, because of their gender, because of their religion? Why do we judge people based on what they say or do? I stand for my community. Our country needs to stop treating others unfairly. We all deserve equal rights because nobody, absolutely nobody, deserves to be mistreated for a small thing. At the end of the day, we only have one world. We should take care of it. If we can do this, then we can stop mistreating others. Nicole finishes with the quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Thank you, Nicole. The voice Sakura. I stand for power and a team, and I stand with the people that need to stay strong. I think that some important issues in Wisconsin and in other states are that people are getting treated differently than others, and that needs to stop because we need to stand together as one. There is no I in team. Another problem is getting bullied and talked about for how they look, smell, or even how they live. God made us all how we are, and we're not perfect. Thank you, Zakira. The voice of James Cayley. It's easy to be indifferent, to do nothing, and just float along with the current in the river of our lives. But at some point, you'll need to come to shore. In order to do that, you must do something. Swim against the waves with your arms, kick your legs, use your inner strength. You never know when that time comes when you need to come to shore and stand with others for the purpose of positive change. It may not be easy, but when you do it, it will fill you with pride, purpose, and even joy, because you are never really alone when you're standing for something. Mr. Cayley. The nation continues to mourn the loss of the innocent from school shootings to senseless gun violence. Elsie of Cunningham offers this. I think we should make shootings stop and make better laws. It's not right that people have to die for nothing because people make the wrong choices and start shooting innocent people. I would stand up for people who are getting bullied. They are stronger than they think, and we need to give them courage. I stand with the people who are getting bullied. I would stand with people who are suffering from their loss from shootings. I would stand for the right choices. Thank you, Elsie, for your powerful words. As I read the voices of Cunningham, where do you stand? Are you willing to stand up for the equality and justice, to be uncomfortable? Shia voice. Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote made me feel powerful. I stand with Martin Luther King Jr. Never let your race take you down. Let's end the hate. The voice of Don Rothman. It's hard to stand up publicly for your beliefs and values at times of challenge and controversy, especially if you are in the minority and when you may be in a place for backlash or even violence against you for those beliefs and values. It is easier to remain silent and let others speak and act for you. I believe Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is asking us to consider what kind of person we want to be, one that lets others take a stand or one that takes action. I would stand up for children and their rights to have shelter, food, clothing, and an education. I would stand up with educators, families, and all who believe in children. The important issues in our community, country, and the world now is a lack of empathy, patience, kindness, tolerance, and love for each other and towards each other. We need to actively try to understand and respect our differences and embrace and nurture the good in each other and work towards the acceptance of all. In conclusion, there are many ways to inspire change. From the voices of many that are willing to stand during times of adversity and discomfort to those that are inspired by the actions of others. Martin Luther King Jr. left a lasting legacy on equality and social justice for us to follow. Although we continue to fight for social justice and equality, as many of the current issues in our society continue to shock our nation, our tireless fight must go on. I leave you with this quote: "The time is always right to do what is right." Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, Riasha. Our keynote speaker is Chief Andre Sales. Chief Andre Sales was sworn in as Beloit's 19th police chief on April 19th, 2021. Sales has an extensive background in community policing. He began his career with the Beloit Police Department in January of 2005, where he served as sergeant, lieutenant, captain, and now chief. During Sales' tenure in Beloit, he led the Drug and Gang Investigation Unit, Community Outreach Unit, Defensive and Arrest Tactics Instructors, Training Cadre, Mobile Field Force Unit, Tactical Operations Unit, Assessment and Recruitment Team, and revitalized the Explorers Program. Sales is a graduate of Wisconsin Command College Class of Number 6, Leadership in Police Organizations, and is the second vice president of the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Executive Development Association. Sales is also an instructor at Madison College, where he teaches police and community relations, report writing, and interview techniques. He is also a member of the Wisconsin Chiefs Police Association, National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, International Association of Chiefs of Police, and Police Executive Research Forum. Sales holds a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Iowa Wesleyan University and is currently pursuing a master's degree in criminal justice with an emphasis on police leadership. While serving as Sergeant of Patrol, Sales was awarded the City of Beloit Hometown Hero Award for his efforts in community collaboration. Please welcome Chief Sales.
Hi, my name is Andre Sales. I'm the Chief of Police with the City of Beloit Police Department. First, I would like to thank you all for this opportunity to be your keynote speaker today. Today, I will be talking about 3 pillars in law enforcement to gain better trust between police and our community. Those 3 pillars are building trust and legitimacy, community policing and crime reduction, and training and education. Trust between law enforcement agencies and the people we protect and serve is essential in democracy. It is key to the stability of our communities, the integrity of our criminal justice system, and the safe and effective delivery of police services. Pillar 1, building trust and legitimacy. Building trust and nurturing legitimacy on both sides of police-citizen divide is the foundational principle underlying the nature of relations between law enforcement agencies and the communities they serve. Decades of research and practice support the premise that people are more likely to obey laws when they believe that those who are enforcing it have authority that is perceived as legitimate by those subjects to the authority. The public confers legitimacy only on those whom they believe are acting in procedurally just ways. In addition, law enforcement cannot build community trust if it is seen as an occupying force coming in from outside to impose control on the community. Pillar 1 seeks to provide focused recommendations on building that relationship. For very too long, police departments occupied homes, communities, and cities by using force that was unjust. Working in the city of Beloit and changing the way that we police, we would not be using force unjust on those that we are here to protect and serve. During my 17 years, I've been subject to see some of this unjust behavior by police agencies throughout the country. And as my job as the chief of police with the city of Beloit, I'm here to change that. I'm only one person, but with my job, I go across the state of Wisconsin and other agencies surrounding our state talking about the unjust behavior. When I was a young man, I grew up in Aurora, Illinois, on the west side. I grew up in a housing project, lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with my brother, my 2 sisters, my mother, and my stepfather. Yes, I said a 2-bedroom apartment that occupied by 6 people. I did not sleep in my own bed until I was 13 years old. My brother and I shared that room together. So as a person of color coming from a rough neighborhood that was subject to unjust behavior by the Aurora Police Department, I took it upon myself to make sure that I became a police officer in my adult life. I wanted to build trust and legitimacy within policing, and in my 17 years, I believe I have done so. Now, as the chief of police, it is my job to continue to build that trust and legitimacy within the city of Beloit and within our police department. And we are taking steps to do that. Those steps are having community outreach meetings, going into the schools, speaking with the young adults that are our future leaders, and speaking with family members to show them that we truly care for them and we want to build a bond with them. Pillar 2. Pillar 2 focuses on the importance of community policing and crime reduction. It is a guiding philosophy for all stakeholders to adhere to. Community policing emphasizes working with neighborhood residents to co-produce public safety. Yes, I said co-produce, because without the police and the community working together, we are only working as one. And if we come together, we can work as two and build a better community together. Law enforcement agencies should therefore work with community residents to identify problems and collaborate on implementing solutions that produce meaningful results for that community. I always tell my troops that we only come to these areas when we're called. The people that we are serving live in these communities 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So it is our duty to listen to the concerns and issues that they have within their community and work together with them. Law enforcement agencies should develop and adopt policies and strategies that reinforce the importance of community engagement in managing public safety. Law enforcement agencies should also engage in multidisciplinary community team approaches for planning, implementing, and responding to crisis situations with complex casual factors. The team approach. The City of Beloit Police Department will be creating a community response team so therefore we can hear from our community members on the concerns that they have within their cities and their residential areas. Crisis situations. Over the last decade or so, we have seen an uptick in mental health crises. Very too often, police officers use deadly force to deal with these situations. The City of Beloit Police Department has been the front runner in using less lethal options to deal with our people that are suffering from crisis situations at that time. We train hard, and we train with the understanding that everyone should be returned to their loved ones. Communities should support a culture and practice of policing that reflects the values of protection and promotion of the dignity of all, especially the most vulnerable people in our community, such as children and youth, most at risk for crime and violence. Law enforcement agencies should avoid using law enforcement tactics that unnecessarily stigmatize youth and marginalize their participation in schools, where law enforcement officers should have limited involvement in discipline and communities. In addition, communities need to reaffirm and recognize the voice of youth in our community and decision makings, facilitate youth participation in research and problem solving, and develop and fund youth leadership training and life skills through positive youth and police collaboration and interactions. During my time at the City of Beloit, I've seen too many young men and women that look like me being murdered by their peers and being put into the criminal justice system for minor infractions. It is time as a community and as a police agency and a criminal justice system that we look at different ways to handle and deal with our young youth in our community. Pillar 3, we should implement training and education within our police departments. I'm a true believer that implicit bias training should be a must for all agencies, with the understanding that we all have biases, but we are not to have those biases come out while we're working. There is a difference between implicit bias and explicit bias. I'm not calling anyone a racist. I'm just saying that we all have biases and we need to understand those biases and train on those biases. The City of Beloit Police Department over the last 5 years have worked on implicit bias training yearly. All of our police officers go through this training yearly. Use of force training. As a defense and arrest tactics instructor for the state of Wisconsin, I have taken upon myself to make sure that we have the equipment within our department to make sure everyone is returned home safely to their loved ones. We deal with people at their lowest points of their lives, but it's our responsibility to treat them with dignity and respect. We've implemented several less lethal options for our police officers to use during these crisis and defense and arrest tactic situations. I truly believe that all agencies should implement where they have less lethal options with police officers when they're handling these critical situations. The theme of this event is, where do you stand? I stand with the people that put their faith in me to be the chief of police for the City of Beloit. I stand with those individuals at the forefront to make sure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect and equality is spread throughout. I stand with these individuals because I, as a person, was taken advantage of by the police as a young man. It is my job to continue to stand with them to assure that policing is looked at in a different light and we are not using our powers to take advantage of other individuals. I stand with fair policing and equality in policing. It is my job to diversify my police department to assure that we look like the community we serve. Who am I standing with? I stand with those seeking reform in policing, and I stand with our community. I also stand with law enforcement officers in the hopes that our communities and policing come together so we can build and be one strong unit. That will take time, and I have all the time in the world to assure that that happens. So if we can all come together and stand as one, we'll make a better future for our youth in our community. Dr. Martin Luther King said, "The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy." We are facing a challenging time in our country today, but I stand up to those that are wronged in the future and in the past to build a better tomorrow, not for just a few, but for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Sales. We'll now enjoy a duet. Aaliyah King is a sophomore who enjoys singing, painting, and dancing. She's a member of Craig's Sisters Inspiring Sisters and bowling clubs. After high school, she is considering attending college to study herbology and plant sciences. Joining her is Rodnisha Cobbs. Rodnisha is a junior who also enjoys singing. She plays basketball and enjoys taking on leadership roles. Rodnisha is also a member of the Craig's Sisters Inspiring Sisters and enjoys photography in her free time. She is planning on attending UW Platteville after high school. Please welcome Aaliyah and Rodnisha.
Sweep it underneath the rock doesn't mean the dirt won't come up. There's a fire burning up. Only thing stronger than hate is love. We need a change. Oh yeah. Some amazing grace. Won't be quiet anymore. Not unless they hear us loud and clear. Damage can't be undone. Let's not pretend it disappears. We need a change. Or some amazing grace. Let's go step by step and brick by brick. I'll carry the weight for you. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna stand here all day. We won't move. No, no, no. We won't let the silence shut us out. They'll say a moment's not about, but we won't be backing out. Hands up, we're about to tear this down. It's gonna change. Oh yeah, yeah. With love and humanity. So step by step, step by step, and brick by brick, brick by brick, I'll carry the weight, yeah, for you. We're not gonna stop. No, no. We're gonna stand here all day. We won't move. No, we won't move. No, no. We won't. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. We won't. All the power in your grief can hold us, and all the hate you give stop us. We'll rise up through the falls. We'll make them hear it all. Won't stop until they know about us. All the power in your grief can hold us, and all the hate you give stop us. We'll do it. Show them we'll do it. Can anybody hold us? We will break through every wall now. Step by step and brick by brick, I'll carry the weight for you. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna stand here all day. We won't move. No, no. We won't. We won't move. We won't move. We won't move. No, no, no. We won't move. We
Thank you, Aaliyah and Rodnisha. Next, we have Amy presenting the Racial Justice Award. Amy is the proud Racial Justice Director of the YWCA Rock County. YWCA Rock County is dedicated to eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. The vision of the YWCA Rock County is to transform lives and communities through education and action to empower women and dismantle racism. Amy will now announce the winner of the 2022 Racial Justice Award.
Hello, I'm Amy Levy, Racial Justice Director for the YWCA Rock County. I am here representing Angela Moore, our Executive Director. The YWCA Rock County Racial Justice Award recognizes an individual that actively strives to live the YWCA mission of eliminating racism, empowering women, and promoting peace, justice, freedom, and dignity for all. This year, we are pleased to honor an individual that has demonstrated passion and leadership in working towards racial justice in our community. Our 2022 YWCA Rock County Racial Justice Award recipient is Renee Bew. Renee is the Program and Outreach Coordinator for the Hedberg Public Library. Ms. Bew has served as a member of the Diversity Action Team of Rock County for over 20 years and has chaired the DAT Leadership Committee for over 3 years. Renee is an active founding member of Allies of Native Nations, a group that has done phenomenal work, including producing a resource guide for educators and hosting community events. Renee has hosted and organized a semi-annual half-day gathering for service providers who work directly with the Latino community members. Through the Diversity Action Team, Renee has assisted with monthly educational programs and has had these programs recorded and made them available on the Hedberg Public Library's YouTube channel. Renee also serves as a co-chair of the Immigrant Support Network, an active member of the Janesville Police Department's Latino Liaison Advisory Committee, and a willing community translator. Please join me in congratulating Ms. Renee Bew.
Thank you very much for being selected as the 2022 YWCA Racial Justice Award recipient. I find it really hard to believe that I am the recipient. I don't think of myself as somebody who does anything I do in order to receive an award. Everything I do is because it's the right thing to do and because I can do it. And I can't imagine not doing the things that I do and helping people and either being a voice for people who don't have a voice or helping them use their voice, lifting them up so that they can use their voice. I feel very honored and very blessed to be able to do what I do and to receive this recognition for the things that I have done. And also, very tasked because along with this award comes lots of responsibility to continue doing the things that I do. And I take that very seriously. But thank you very much to Vicki Brown for nominating me and Santo and Jean Carfora for their letters of support. Saying thank you isn't enough, but I am very, very grateful. Thank you so much.
Next, Tim Silla, President of Local UAW 95, will be presenting the MLK UAW Service Award.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tim Silla. I am the president of the UAW Local 95 here in Janesville, and I am here to present the Martin Luther King Jr. Civil Rights Service Award. Once again, it is my honor and privilege to be a participant in the MLK Junior event, as always a highlight in our calendar, as the UAW is a proud sponsor of this event again this year. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the UAW have a long and storied past that goes back to our civil rights leader and past international president, Walter Reuther. In that spirit of community service, we have an excellent candidate again this year as a recipient of the UAW Martin Luther King Jr. Civil Rights Service Award. Awarding this is particularly satisfying for me, as the award winner is a fellow UAW member, and honestly, I don't understand why he hasn't already received this. Our winner this year has been a community organizer his entire adult life. He was raised on a family farm in Ontario, Wisconsin, and migrated to Janesville to work at the General Motors assembly plant. He never sought to be a leader, but rather a worker that would get things done. Yet he morphed into the leadership role as he strived to improve our community and make it a better place to live and to work. Some of his accomplishments include election poll worker, election canvasser, Rock County, labor endorsing committee, teachers, firefighters, and labor unions, Labor Fest committee, Labor Council for Latin American Advancement, Rock County Labor Coalition, Rock County Supervisor, SHARE Program, Employee Assistance Program and GM Food Drive, American Heart Association fundraisers, and Janesville Police and Fire Commission. Whether it be in a leadership role or as a worker, he was always there when needed if there was work to be done, never tiring, never complaining, and never ever giving up on the projects he was involved in. That, in a nutshell, is the bio of this year's recipient that I call a great friend and well-deserving candidate, my friend and fellow UAW member, Bill Bridenstine.
I appreciate the introduction that Tim gave me. Just to recount a little bit of what happened a few times that I can recall. When I first hired in at General Motors, I was there, I think, probably 45 days, and somebody said, well, we got a union meeting on Sunday morning. And I says, good, I'm going to it. And I'm not even sure I was in the union yet at that time, but there was another fellow worker, and I don't remember what his name was, that came in there, and he says, I says, well, are you going to the union meeting Sunday? And he says, no. He says, what's the union ever done for me? And this same guy had just spent a year on sick leave, covered by the UAW contract, and then he had the audacity to say, what has the union ever done for me? And I made up my mind at that time that I was going to serve my members. I got on a number of committees. I was on the election committee and different ones, but you just don't realize how much a union means to you until you've been in it as long as I have. I've been a member now since early 1970s, and I've been involved with them. I started in probably in 71 as either a union rep or on one of the committees, and I ran for a number of executive board positions and won them. But it's humbling when you can do a job that people enjoy the participation that you have in it. So, again, I really look forward to this. I'm not sure that I deserve it of it, but I appreciate it, and hopefully we can keep on serving. At my age, the time is limited. So, again, thank you for showing up for this, and I appreciate the honor that this is. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We hope that this program has inspired you to evaluate your commitment to racial and social justice. It is our hope that you will ask yourself through this new year, where do I stand and who am I standing with? Take care.